So first of all, it's Daniel Williams, not Chris Kerr. Apologies for it saying Chris Kerr. It's just that's who the webinar software is registered to. However, I'm going to be showing you through a few things today. This is going to be a weekly occurrence now. We're going to have sort of like a bit of a training session and a bit of showing you what's new, and we're going to record it every week and we're going to put it on YouTube and write up everything that's happened. So it's going to become a way for us to interact for an hour a week with many of our customers, and hopefully, you know, we'll get more and more people that know about this and join in, but also people that could just watch it on YouTube later, and we'll try and expand it a bit as well. So right now it's all about new features and a bit of a tutorial between us. However, in the future, we'd like to use it as a way to sort of talk about a bit of e-commerce as well and help everyone with their businesses. It's going to become kind of a Friday sort of workshop between us and our customers. Hopefully, we'll help improve sort of things with your business, as well as show you how to use ChannelGrabber to effectively help you there. So, okay, today the biggest thing on our mind today is postal changes. They come in on Monday. They're a headache for everyone. So we're going to show you how to update them with CSV files. Also, we've had another request to show how to change a template as well, when on the template it has the postage also. So I'll show you that. It's all kind of along the similar lines, so it'll all tie in quite nicely together. Additionally, we also have our Moto, which is going to be released very shortly. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of a preview today. It's not fully functional, but if you have a look at it, you might see things that you maybe want us to add or change and stuff, and we'll probably go way more in depth into that next week once it's properly released. Also, we've had a few extra changes to some of the templating as well that we do with eBay templates to allow you to add in more there. So we're going to cover those things today. I'm going to crack on now and just get showing. We don't deal with specific technical support questions here. It's about what we're showing you. So we'll show you through how to do things. If you need us to show a bit more, then great, ask us. And the bit at the end, we'll try and cover a bit of tutorial stuff. However, if it's things that we've covered before, or if there's a video guide for it, I'm just going to direct you to where that is rather than show you through it, because we're trying to build up a bit of a database here of things where people can learn and read on our help desks. It's going to serve no one any purpose if we keep repeating the same thing. So don't take offense if I direct you somewhere else. It's not me trying to shirk responsibility or anything. I just want to make sure that you get the help from the right person, or the right resource, as it were. Okay, so jumping straight in then, what you need to do when making mass changes. This is I'm going to show you it for postal changes. However, it can be used for other things. The only thing that we're working on at the moment, improving it on, is variations. So if I jump over to the data exchange for products, and I'll just get rid of this one because this was me playing around, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to export my listings, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-import the changes. Okay, so I'm going to go to my listings, and what you first need to do is create an export of what you want to change. Like, for example, I made one of these earlier, but I'm going to show you roughly how you would create it. Okay, so first of all, you come onto the exports, and then you need to add a few rows here to start building up what you're doing. So we export basic information that you can't change. They'll always be exported. So it'll be the listing ID, the SKU, and I think channel as well. So these three things you can't choose. They will be exported every single time because they're the minimum required for us to make changes on our system. So you don't need to worry about that. Instead, what you're focusing on is what exactly you're changing. So, for example, I'm going to set up a mapping here for my postage. So, for example, I will pick eBay postage cost 1, and then I'll just there's a few other options. So I'm just going to build this up. Okay, so I'm going to pick the postage cost then. So let's have a look. eBay postage cost 1. Okay, I've added that in twice, sorry. So eBay shipping service 1, and the postage cost 1, and then the eBay postage additional. Let's have a look. Additional cost, yeah. Okay, so I've these three. So I'm basically going to repeat these for as many of the services that I have. So if I just write in eBay ship, and then eBay postage. Sorry to bore. I'm only going to show you one of these, so I'm not going to bore you like certain people who will go through typing absolutely everything out. I'm just going to show you how to do one, and then I'll use my one that I made earlier, Blue Peter style. Okay, so eBay additional. Okay, so this is what I do. So this is what I need to export for these. If I then want to export my international as well, then the same thing. So I need to pick my international shipping service, my international postage cost, and my international postage cost additional. Okay, so much the same as these then, I'll just stick these in there. Int. Okay, so I'm building up. I've built up my sort of export template that I'm going to use, and I can use this any other time that I like. You can't. Someone's asked if you can do this without typing in the names. No, you can't, because it's all to do with kind of mapping and stuff. So you do have to actually type in a name here at the moment. I'm not saying it's going to stay like this. We're continuously improving how we do things, and we take on board people's advice. But yes, at the moment you will have to write in a name here as well. If you leave it blank, it will just be left off of the export. It just won't be done. So you need to make sure to fill in the header. Okay, so and in here I'm going to just pick eBay template, because this kind of fits with what I'm going to show someone else who's asked to see it. Let me just go eBay template. Okay, so eBay template ID. Okay, so now what I want to do is, now that I've created this, I want to save this as a template for me to export. So if I just save it here and just call it webinar test, and then save that, then what I can do is I just need to reload it here, so webinar test, and then I can generate it. Clicking on the generate here will actually create this export. So I'm going to do it just to show you. However, it's not going to be the one that I use when I re-import, only because I've created one that I'm going to show you. So as you can see here, I hate to close down things properly, so it always saves them. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, so these are all my listings then that have been exported. As I said, you can't choose this. SKU is going to come out all the time. Listing ID is going to come out all the time, and channel is going to come out all the time. You can't change these. We need these for when we bring in files again, which is why we have to put them there when they're exported as well. And then as you can see, all my services here have been exported as well for what I'm going to do. So once I've done this, what I would do is I'd make the changes on here. Now I'm just going to flip over to my one that I created earlier, only because I'm going to talk from there now, only because I've set one up, I've tested it. So if I go to postal rate change 2, as you can see, it's changed here. It's much the same, but it's because I've only got a listing that I can show you for standard. And if I generate this one, and then I'll download it and I'll work from this one. Again, this is all to do with the sort of load balancing. So if you get that message, just reload it again and it's perfectly fine. Okay, so now this is my export then. And what I'm going to do is you obviously change these in bulk. So for example, if you had all your shipping that were the same, what I would do is I'd just change it in bulk. So for example, if I've got my shipping cost 2 over here, if for all of these I wanted to charge 10p, you just change it to 10 here, and then you just expand that for the whole sort of selection. So that's going to set all my postage rates there. Now if they're all at 10p already, what you would then change is obviously what you want to change it to. So say 23p, and then you just expand that. So again, you just it's those of you that have used Excels before understand how to do this. Those of you who don't, do you fully understand it? I mean, does anyone not understand how you would change this in bulk? Because I hope I've explained it correctly and well enough for you to understand. Obviously, you could then, for this one here, for example, I've got my shipping here. I would want this one to say be different from the rest for that particular listing, or for example, so you can change them individually as well. But this is how you would change it on bulk. So I'm just going to get rid of all the products here that I'm not going to work with, okay? So I'm just going to get rid of these because I'm not interested in them. I'll get rid of that one as well. This is the actual product I'm going to show you. So it's SP is the SKU on this one, and the postage charge on this one was about 40p. So let me just go back to what I was doing on here. Go back to the products page. And then I'll just find SP here. Someone's asked if the flat rates can be applied using this method. You can. You need to export it as well. I'll show you that again in a second, but you just need to make sure that the map field has been mapped. I think I may have misunderstood that question actually. I'll get back to it in a second after I've shown you what I'm doing here. You mean how do I actually change it? Like, to actually change the rules on them. I can't change the rules of them on ChannelGrabber, can I? I'll have to change them outside of ChannelGrabber.
Yeah, you can set them.
Okay, right, so this one's the one that I'm looking at here, the SP. If I click on this one, and it'll bring up the eBay listing. And you can see if I scroll down here to my postage methods. Okay, so this one's set at 40p at the moment. So obviously I want to change that one. So if I bring this back up and change this to 0.50, okay, so, and then save it. And then what I need to do is just add this back into ChannelGrabber. So you go back to your, I was only showing that for demonstration, but what I want to do is I want to go back to the data exchange, and now this time, instead of exporting, I want to import it so I can get my changes done. And then go to import. Okay, so now what I want to do is upload a file for mapping, and it's obviously going to be my webinar test. Webinar test for postal rates, and I'm going to open that one up, and I'm going to upload it. Okay, so it's now been uploaded here, but I've already got a template set out for it, so I'm going to use my postal rate changes too. The only addition that I need to do at the moment is add back in the SKU, because we export it but we don't automatically import it again, so you do need to add the SKU back in again. Now this stage obviously adds a bit of complication. There will be a written step-by-step guide on this that's going to be written by one of our tech support guys, Juan, who started the other day, funnily enough, and he's actually watching today, and he'll talk you through it on step-by-step of how to do it. So if I add back in a row here, and then go to SKU, and just map that back in to SKU. Okay, so this is done now. So what I want to do is to actually import this, we generate the import. Okay, so if I click on generate here, and it will generate this little job up here, which we've just got to wait for it to work on now. Okay, so I'm just going to put it on mute for a second while we wait for this to go, while I just ask for help on one of the questions. Yeah, so
wait, it will export them. The problem is it exports the actual code, which when they import.
Yeah, how do they change the rule for that code?
Oh, that's all done on eBay.
So they'd have to make the changes on eBay for that.
For the rules, yeah. But the problem is,
would we update automatically then?
We wouldn't be affected at all. We just tell them which rule set to use.
Right, so they just have to change the rule set, and it should update all of their live listings, or will they have to re-upload it?
I don't know what eBay does.
They'll probably have to make a change on eBay, won't they? I'll let them know that anyway. Okay, I was getting a bit of advice on flat rate and how they could be applied using this method and stuff, and changed. And what we've come to the conclusion is that you can't change the specific flat rates within ChannelGrabber at the moment, but you can update the listings through ChannelGrabber. So if you change the rates on eBay, I don't know if you have to refresh them or not, or whether or not eBay will automatically refresh them, but when you export the file and you export the flat file rule and then re-upload it, it will refresh that rule set anyway. So you will need to set the flat rate rules on eBay, but you can refresh them using this same method along with your eBay template and such. Okay, we're just waiting for this to process still. I hope that's answered the question. While I'm waiting for this to upload, I'll also show you another thing on the CSV here. Why is it taking so long? Okay, so over here is the eBay template. I don't use any templating on mine. However, what I would need to do is, if I did use a template and I needed to refresh it because I've changed something, maybe I've hard-coded my postal rates into my listing, then what you would need to do is refresh the template. So you change the template on ChannelGrabber, And I'll just bring this up. As you can see, that's successful there. I'll check on that in a second. So if I bring up the template, I'll change my eBay listing template in here. So I've got a test one. I'd now say new postal rate. Okay, and I'd save that. And then what I need to do is I need to get this template ID here, which should have already been exported anyway if you use it, and you just need to force a refresh on the listing, and then just make sure that's in there so that when I upload it, the change that I've just made on my template in ChannelGrabber will be reapplied, and that's how you would change your template so that it's reflected everywhere. So on this export, when you've got all of your product listings here, you'd have the new or the old eBay template ID there, but we would just send it again, so we'd make sure that it would be completely updated. And I hope that answers the whole question there. Okay, moving back to this then. So this was my successful processed rows, and as you can see, this is 40p at the moment, and this will change to 50p. Yes, so as you can see, it's gone to 50p, and this will happen to all of your listings. So hopefully that's explained to you how easy it is. You may want to read the guide afterwards, but I'll give you the quick rundown. Okay, so basically the first thing you do is you go to listings, so it's data exchange and then listings here. Then you want to export all of them by creating a rule set here of all of the postage methods you want to export. You then want to change the rules to what you're doing, and once you've saved that, you need to go and import it into ChannelGrabber. You upload it, and then you select your template from before. You make sure you map SKU back in, and then you import it, and that is going to refresh every single one of your listings with the new postal rates, as well as make any other changes you want. Now, if you exported a couple of extra things as well, so maybe along the way you want to change your brand or your manufacturer or anything you want to change, it works in exactly the same way. We're going to do a much more comprehensive tutorial on using the data exchange here once we've finished with the variation changes that we want to do. Okay, so that's basically everything that we're going to cover on this particular thing. Is there any questions before we move on to something new that you may want me to just clarify or go over again regarding the postal rate changes or making other changes for your listings and refreshing it? I'll give you a minute just to type any questions if you have them. God, I'm so glad that that worked. Yeah, that's like the ultimate embarrassment if it didn't. Okay, someone's asked about how long a written guide will take. I'll ask Kuan how long that's going to take him to do, and I'll let you know. But I'm guessing he's probably going to start on it as soon as this is finished. Okay, all right. Well, I'll move on now because I think we've covered most of that. Hopefully, that's given you a lot of things to think about. Also, this video is going to be on YouTube really quickly after as well. Basically, as soon as I finish recording, I'm going to upload this to YouTube as well. So you'll be able to come back and look at it as a reference and see the sort of steps to getting it done. Okay, I'm going to move on then. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you the extra tags that we've added in recently. Oh, 1 second, there was a question on this before I move on. Someone's asked, if you add an export template, is there a way to delete it from the drop down? Currently, no. Not very intuitive, I know, but while we're testing new tools, we try and not put in delete buttons because we want to make sure that deleting them is not going to have a negative effect on your account or anyone else's. So although this is obviously in production and people can use it, we're still testing out things. We want to make sure things work out really well for people, and we tend not to let you delete things that you've created in case it causes data integrity issues. So apologies for the extra inconvenience of having things that you don't want to keep, but trust me, it's better in the long run this way because it can stop other negative things happening. Okay, so the thing I'm going to show now is the release schedule. This is actually quite new. I don't even know why I didn't even mention this. You can see what's coming up and what we're working on by going to the release schedule in the bottom right hand corner. There's a little explanation on how we deal with releases and kind of explains that ChannelGrabber practices Kaizen. So this is kind of like a Japanese business model of continual improvement. So the reason why we mention this is because our release numbers that we use aren't in the conventional sense. Usually a company would say 3.1 will have all of these releases and they'll hold on to everything they've got and release it all at once, which we don't. Instead what we say is 3.1, these are all the things we'd like to be completed before we call it end of day on 3.1 and start moving on. So we've got a list of things here then that we consider that we need to get done or get completed before we consider 3.1 to be over and done with. Okay, so these are basically, we prioritize it. So anything that's here is our highest priority, and anything down here is what's going to come after that. So these are the kind of niceties, additional things that we're going to add in. So hopefully that explains that. And one of the things that you can notice on here is we also explain when it was released, and if possible we give a little link to somewhere that explains it a bit further. So if, for example, I've got this one here and I want to see what's gone on, this one's more tags, such as SKU for custom eBay templates. If I click on it, it will take us to our support desk guide on it. So it'll explain exactly what's been added to the tag. Well, it won't explain exactly what's been added, but it will show you the information that's been added and talk you through anything that you need to know for it. So for example here, you can see you can now add in SKU, brand, manufacturer, barcode, basically all the things that are on your product main product page you can now add into your template, eBay template. Okay, so on here, if I go back to the product and click on just SP, because I've been using that one as my test, all the things here, so brand, manufacturer, condition, weight and barcode and stuff, you can now add these as tags into your custom eBay template. And we want to improve on it as well. So if there's things that you feel that we're missing or things that you want us to do a bit better, let us know and we will improve it. That was actually a suggestion from someone else that we implemented, and we did it pretty quick because it was easy to do. And if it's easy to do and we've got a developer that's free and easy for the time that it takes to get it done, then we'll stick them on it. Which is why sometimes you'll find that releases get released at different sort of priorities, even though one's more important than the other, it gets released later than the other. And the reason is because we obviously have different developers who specialize in different things. So you'll sometimes find that you have to wait a little bit longer for something that's really important because we need to have the right person available for it. Okay, and that's covered the custom templates then. So the last thing to talk about really is Moto. Moto got taken out because we couldn't do variations on the last one, and when we moved it over to version 3, it would have caused issues to leave the original Moto in, and instead we had to do a bit of an overhaul. So it has been something that we've been trying to get done for people that had it before. So if I go over to Moto, I need to log into the right person for it, sorry. We've got special locks in case people can't get onto this page, so you won't be able to access this one. If you try and go onto moto.php, you just won't be able to access it unless you're on the right user account. But as you can see here, we've gone for kind of brought it into line with how other designs have worked. On here, you can search your customer information either by name, email or phone number. So if you've ordered from you before, you'll be able to find them straight away. So if I start searching for Daniel, for example, it comes up with my details here. Now I can either click on this and it will load in my details, or I can just keep on writing it in as if it's a new person. I'm going to show you what happens if I select me. So as you can see, it's filled in all of my details straight away. So if it's someone that's ordered from you before and you've got their email address or their phone number or their name, you can load up their delivery details, in an instant. And also, you can then add a new record. So if they want it delivered somewhere else, you can add in a new address as well. So as you can see, delivery to, and now if I enter these details in, they'll be saved ready for me to send out. Now this ties in with kind of the CRM that we're going to be introducing soon, and a lot of the marketing things to do with having customer accounts so you can see exactly what they've ordered from you. So it's all building towards that. Now the products down here then, for example, what you do is you can change things on the fly. So for example, if you wanted to just create a new product and you didn't want to use ones from your database, you could just type in, say, variation, and then you could just go on to the next box. You can add in how many quantity and what the item price is, and you can create a product on the fly, as it were. However, what people most want to do is they want to be able to find the product within their actual inventory management side of things and use that. So for example, here I'm just going to use a product with many variations. If I click on this, it will load up any information it's got. Currently it doesn't have an item price there, but it has loaded up my variations. So for example, I want this to be my skull, and I want it to be my streak. So now I've selected the variations that go with the product, and then I just need to add in how many of them that I want, and I can add in my item price, which will it calculates up the line total and such, and then I can choose my shipping method down here. So these are part of your mapped shipping. So if I've got first class, and that's going to cost me $2.99, and there you go, I've created the order then, as it were. You can add in any notes here. Hello. And that's kind of how you create an order on ChannelGrabber. It's not fully released yet, but I wanted to give you a little preview in case you had any ideas or suggestions for it. That way you can send an email into feature request at channelgrabber.com, and we can look into that and try and improve it. And that's pretty much everything to do with the Moto. Is there any questions regarding, sorry, someone says, will confirm order actually update the stock levels? And it will, yeah. So if I click confirm order, whatever this product is linked to, it will update the quantity. Now, I don't know if it's connected right now, as I say, because we're testing it at the moment, so I'm not going to press it, but it will affect your stock levels. And also, it will add the order into ChannelGrabber, so you'll manage it in exactly the same way as you would any other marketplace. So, are there any questions regarding any of the things that we've talked about today? So, anything to do with the postal changes, or the order import, the product import export, or the tags in the eBay listings? Okay, there doesn't seem to be, but don't worry. I mean, if you have any questions afterwards, that's fine. What we're going to do is we will continue to answer questions on these things as well. So I believe on our support desk there's a way to ask questions. So you'll be able to ask questions on there as well for this particular article. But other than that, I mean, is there any other little quick things that people maybe want to be shown that are slightly off topic? I'm not guaranteeing that I'll actually show them, but if there's something here that's quick and easy to show you, I'm more than happy to give you a quick demo. So is there any sort of burning questions on people's minds? Okay, there doesn't seem to be. No worries, we'll have this next week as well, same time, 11 o'clock, and we'll continue to do it weekly. So thank you all for coming, and hopefully we can make this into a bit of a special group. And if we notice that the same people keep showing up, then we can make our own little Friday club and just have fun, and we'll mock everyone that doesn't show up because they're missing out on amazing fun. Okay, thank you all for coming, and have a great weekend, because I've just seen the sun come out, and it's definitely time to go to the pub after work. Thank you all.